Okay, we're going to get started. I just want to first welcome everybody, and also for folks where this may be your first community health professional meeting, just give you a brief overview as to why we host these, why we have them, and where the topics are derived from. And it comes from all of you. It comes from people that are working in the community, either on a health topic or on social determinants of health, or both. And as we get the feedback, we look for experts in the field, we look for resources, tools, et cetera, and then either include those in the community health professional newsflash or have a presentation on the topic. And clearly stress, being overwhelmed, trying to find resiliency through COVID, through all of the different challenges that people have faced both in their work life and their personal life. This was a real priority, and we have been searching and searching through tons of resources that are out there, but was overwhelmingly impressed with the variety of free, confidential, available, tangible tools, resources, people, groups, et cetera, that New York Project hopes offered. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Cheryl and allow her to expound on this. So welcome, Cheryl, and welcome, Alex, from New York Project Hope.
Thank you so much, Carrie. Thank you for having us this afternoon. My name is Cheryl Gersler, and I am the Program Engagement Specialist at New York Project Hope. And I'm joined by my colleague, Alex Fozzi, who is our Helpline Coordinator, who will also be sharing with us this afternoon. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to learn a little bit more about our program, and also to talk a little bit more about self-care and some other coping tips along the way. So we'll continue on now. Move on to the next slide. So what is New York Project Hope? Well, we provide emotional support to help folks to navigate through the stress and challenges caused by the ongoing pandemic. We are a program of the New York State Office of Mental Health, and we are funded by FEMA. Our crisis counseling program is a strengths-based program, offering support that promotes resilience, empowerment, and recovery. And as Carrie mentioned, our services are always confidential, free, and anonymous. It's a very important part of our program. And we get it. It has been a very long last 2 years. And so if folks are feeling stressed, anxious, isolated, scared, angry, sad, these are all very expected reactions to these very challenging times. And so to help folks cope, crisis counseling programs are available, and crisis counseling programs can help folks in a variety of ways to help folks understand their situations and reactions, identify, label, and express emotion, help folks to regain a sense of mastery and control, help folks to make decisions and take action, develop coping strategies, manage stress, adjust to the pandemic and losses, and help folks to use community resources. New York Project Hope helps folks through these reactions in a variety of ways. First, through crisis counseling, and my colleague Alex is going to share with us more in just a couple of minutes about our emotional support helpline and our online wellness groups. So stay tuned for a little bit more from Alex. Next, through resource linkage and community networking. We have a wonderful website that I'm also going to show you in a few minutes. And there are wonderful educational materials, coping tips, relaxation strategies on the site. A lot of great material to share. And then last but not least, through public education, we do provide different presentations for the community. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn things over to my colleague, Alex, who's going to share a little bit more about our emotional support helpline.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here and share more about what we do on the Emotional Support Helpline. I'm the project coordinator, and our staff, since really the beginning of the pandemic, have provided emotional support, and as Cheryl said, also resources, referrals, coping tips, etc. But I want to expand a little bit on what types of calls that we receive so that you know if you wanted to call because of one of these reasons or something similar, or refer to other people, that we are here for you. Most of our calls are obviously mental health related. We hear a lot from individuals about anxiety, fears, and just the uncertainty of, obviously we've been in different waves of this pandemic with different information and guidelines, and a lot of times people are just feeling the frustration and just confusion about that, and it can lead to feelings of anxiety. And we also deal with individuals who may be having things like panic attacks, grief, loss, feelings of guilt and frustration, sometimes burnout. And I think that is especially true of people who work in mental health, public health, and in the healthcare system. Again, general stress as well kind of falls into that. And sometimes we get callers who don't really realize until they're saying it out loud to us how much stress they've been dealing with. So we really encourage anyone to call. And we know that COVID has just really impacted everyone on every different level, at work, at home, in your relationships, and just personally in your own mental health. So, if you feel like you're not sure if you kind of qualify or fall under this program, please just call us and we'll walk you through it. And if you're not, we'll provide the correct referral. I do want to also make the distinction that we are a helpline and not a hotline. So if we do have callers who have more acute crises, such as domestic violence, or they're feeling suicidal, they can also call, but we would most likely refer them out to maybe the Suicide Prevention Lifeline or a local domestic violence resource. Some of the other calls that we receive are just about medical concerns or frustrations with accessing the medical system, people experiencing long haul COVID, or just feeling uncertain as to whether or not they should go into the hospital just because of fear of exposure or attend needed appointments. So we do talk about that, and we also talk to callers about more practical issues of like, okay, I had COVID and I was on track to get my booster. How long in between, having that experience with COVID, and when should I get the booster? Obviously, we don't answer any medical questions, but we would refer out to the appropriate place, and we would help you figure out what that place would be. Some simple, kind of practical things that we hear about, or like, I lost my vaccination card, and what should I do about that? So we handle those as well. Some of the calls are related to things like housing or food insecurity. And obviously that is related to the pandemic too, because many people have been impacted financially because of layoffs and things of that nature. And we do get quite a few calls about general employment issues, because this is impacted whether or not you wear masks at work, whether or not you're remote working or in the office. I mean, recently, obviously, people are returning to the office a little bit more. So people do call of like, I just want to make sure I'm safe, or I just want to talk this through with someone. And we're more than happy to talk about those issues with our callers. And then lastly, we do get some overlap of other types of crises. For instance, we had some storms, hurricanes that came through, things that have happened in the city, such as the Bronx fire. And obviously, those have the overlapping issue of COVID as well, because housing can be very difficult. You have to expose yourself to go and look at other maybe apartments or homes. And may have some difficulty for that reason as well. So any issue that at all touches COVID, we are more than happy to provide emotional support and referrals as needed. Does anyone have questions? I don't know if this is.
Yeah, you can unmute and ask questions if you have them, or you could type them in the chat, and I'd be happy to relay them. But I think one of the misconceptions with Helpline and with, you know, the overall project is that you have to be in a crisis, you know, that's so right. And it's not, it's those whole range of issues. Anything really that's making you feel burdened or stressed, you can call and find support, which is great.
That is
And I'm excited to hear about the group.
Yeah. That is exactly correct. Yes, and also Carrie had mentioned when we were jumping on about our online wellness groups, we added those in July, and those provide an opportunity to get together with other individuals and just talk through what you've been experiencing. We have different themes on the weekdays. Monday has 2 groups, and then 1 group per day for the rest of the week, none on the weekends. But those all have a different theme and people can really get together. I mean, obviously, one of the topics that we hear a lot about is isolation. And so it's just a really great opportunity for people to share and have their experiences validated that other people are experiencing something similar. And those groups tend to be, I think, a little more action oriented, where they're talking about how do I move forward? How can I really stick with positive coping tools and skills and really embed that into my life, you know, given all the changes that we've all had to make because of COVID.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Alex. And Alex will be available to answer additional questions as we go throughout. And as a matter of fact, I'd be happy to share, Alex, where folks can find access to those online wellness groups as we continue on. So that's a little bit about online wellness groups. And what I'd like to do now is share with you a little bit more about our website, because there's so many wonderful resources and tools that you can take with you. And we're so glad to be with you this afternoon. But most importantly, we want to make sure that you have tools to take with you long beyond this presentation. So bear with me as I make this transition. I'm going to go into our website, and hopefully everybody can see that before them. So before you, you'll find the New York Project Hope website, and it's at newyorkprojecthope.org. And a couple things to highlight first. At the very top of the screen, you'll see that folks can access the website in the language that they need. So there's a drop-down menu there. You'll find our helpline number is in a variety of places all over the site. So Alex was just talking with you about the helpline. And so if folks are looking to make a phone call to the helpline, if you're on a smartphone, you can click to call right there, or you'll also see the number listed if you're looking at the site from a computer or other device. Something else to point out from the homepage is that our website is accessible as well. And folks can find those features at the bottom left-hand side of your screen. So I just want to make sure that I made folks aware of that first. So on our site, we try to make things as interactive as possible. New York Project Hope is for everyone in New York State. So we try to have different things available for different folks that may be helpful to them. And we're continually making updates to the site based on feedback that we receive from the community. So if you take a moment to look at our site and you say, you know, I wish there was something about a particular topic, please reach out and let us know. We really work hard to be responsive to what the community is telling us that they need. So just a few things I wanted to also highlight on the site. You'll see first the Info and Resources tab, and I'm going to take a moment to click on that tab first. And on this tab, this is where folks can find links to different resources that are available. Many folks have had questions about the different variants, so that is on the first tab. As I click on to Crisis Services, this is where folks can find 24-hour information, 24-hour support numbers, suicide prevention, New York Forward information. On this tab, you'll find COVID-19 related assistance. And as I scroll down here, you'll see information from New York State Department of Health, from OMH, FEMA. We also have a drop-down menu here. So for example, if someone might be looking for childcare resources, let's say their schedule has changed and now someone is looking for childcare as a result of COVID. They've been impacted in that way. There are referrals for childcare resources here. You'll see other resources again from FEMA as well. Financial assistance, as Alex was mentioning, folks have been impacted some folks have been impacted financially with their jobs and may need information related to financial questions that they have. And that can be found here. Information related to health insurance, and for folks in the city, the hotel program. On general resources, this is where folks can find resources. For example, if someone's looking for different food resources, this would be found here. And folks that may have substance use disorders, there's resources here. You'll see additional resources for New Yorkers, including unemployment information, New York Connects for older adults, EAP, Families Together, and so forth. Last but not least on this page, this is where folks can find resources related to the vaccine. All these things can be found on Info and Resources. And then next, I'm clicking on the Talk tab, and this reminds us that sometimes it's good to talk it out, and sometimes it's easier to talk to somebody that you don't know. And Alex shared many examples of why folks might utilize the emotional support helpline, and there's some additional examples listed on this page. This mom is stressed about school. This dad is struggling with his health. This person is anxious about stepping back into the office. A grandmother calling about looking for childcare resources. Again, just a few additional examples of why folks might reach out to the helpline. Again, you'll see our phone number to the helpline listed on this page, but that's the Talk tab. And then I'm scrolling over to the Cope tab, and there are so many resources, coping tips, and great resources listed on this page. And again, we're continually updating based on what folks are telling us that they're looking for. At the very top of the page, you'll see coping with vaccine anxiety. That has been a very popular article that folks have been looking at. It's right at the top of the page. It's one of the most highly clicked articles that we have. And then as I scroll down, I just want to take a moment to point out some of the other articles that we have listed. A new blog that we have out includes self-care tips for frontline workers, and these are so important. Just taking a moment just to highlight a few of these self-care tips. Recognizing your stress, being mindful of your posture, incorporating stretches and yoga, giving yourself something to look forward to, stay hydrated, take walk breaks, use your imagination, regulate your breathing, which Alex is going to share much more about these self-care tips and breathing in just a few minutes. Embrace humor and laughter, keep a gratitude log, and last but not least, seek help. So this is another new article on the Cope tab of our website. So I welcome you to explore these different articles. I'm on our website every day, and I'm always finding something new, a new tool, a new resource. So I welcome you to take a moment to explore some of these articles. And to make it easier for you, because there's so many different articles on different topics, we also have a drop-down menu on this page. For example, if you're looking for information targeted specifically for frontline workers, you can click on that tab and you'll find articles specifically targeted for our frontline heroes. articles related to grief, parenting, and so forth. So there's many different topics, again, reaching all folks across New York State. There's one more thing I just wanted to highlight also on the COPE tab, and I just want to share with you a few videos. Just click on the tab Understand, and you'll see different video scenarios listed of folks going through different common experiences and providing some coping tips to help folks to navigate through those situations. So that's another resource that you have. There's videos here and a few more videos on this page as well. So lots of great tools on the COPE tab. And then we have the Relax tab, taking care of you, and reminders that self-care isn't selfish, it's smart. And so you'll see on this page information about meditation and breathing. And again, stay tuned. Alex will be joining us in just a few moments to share more about these important topics. And I just want to highlight a few of the other resources on our website related to relaxation. You'll see a link to the different DEC hike locations. You'll see some different relaxing games that folks can take a moment to play, relaxing activities. One of the activities that folks tell me they really enjoy, I'm going to click on here for just a moment. Let's see if I can get on here, is the Weave Silk website. It's so relaxing just to take a moment to create art. So I welcome you to explore some of these different relaxing activities. And as I scroll down on this page as well, you'll find some rainy mood music. And then last but not least, a video that gives you 2 minutes to do absolutely nothing. And it plays really wonderful, relaxing music. So I welcome you to check that out as well. That can be found on the Relax tab. So lots of great resources there to explore. And Alex was sharing information about our wellness groups just a few minutes ago. And so I wanted to make sure that you could find where you can access if you were looking to join or share this information with others. So at the top of our website, you'll see the online wellness group tab. And as I scroll down on this page, you'll see the different groups that Alex was talking about. The group on Monday at 2, Monday at 5:30, COVID long hauler group Tuesday at 2, Wellness Wednesday at 12 on Wednesdays, COVID and relationships Thursdays at 8 p.m. Last but not least, Moving Forward Friday on Fridays at noon. And one of our New York Project Hope providers, the Hispanic Counseling Center, also offers a wellness group for those that speak Spanish. And there's information to access that group as well. And I know a lot of folks often have questions about the group, like do they have to register? And folks do not need to register. Alex and her team have mechanisms in place to ensure confidentiality. The groups are free, they are confidential. And am I missing anything, Alex, about the groups?
No, I just wanted to add though that sometimes people have difficulty joining, and if that's the case, you can also call us and just ask if we can support you, and we're happy to do that. And sometimes people get to this page, but they don't realize they have to click that purple join the wellness group button.
Okay. Thank you so much, Alex. And just to highlight what Alex was just mentioning, on this page, that is the button, the purple button here, that folks would click on at the time when the group is going on. And then here's the phone number if someone is looking to access the group by phone. So thank you so much for highlighting that, Alex. Just a few other things I just wanted to point out to you. You'll see find a provider near you. We do have additional New York Project Hope providers in 15 counties across the state. And I will let you know that many folks may be calling from the capital or joining us today from the Capital Region area. For folks that are accessing us from the Capital Region area, please know that you have access to our statewide helpline, and you'll see the number listed on the screen. our wonderful wellness groups that Alex was just sharing with us more information about, and presentations just like this. So folks do have resources statewide for our program. So just wanted to share a little bit about that. And hopefully you'll have some time to explore the website. There's so many great supportive tools depending on what you're looking for. Just one other thing I wanted to mention to you, we have a very supportive social media presence. I welcome you to check out our Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. We're even on LinkedIn now. And so you'll find on our social media platforms that we have a lot of coping tips, and it's regularly updated. So take a moment and check those out, and you're absolutely welcome to share those posts as well. And just a reminder that our website does have links to different community resources for you. Our helpline number is listed on the screen, and it's also posted on our website. Our helpline is open every day between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. Folks often ask, are you open on holidays as well? And yes, Alex is shaking her head. Yes, we are open on holidays as well. So please know that those resources are available to you. And if you'd like to learn more about New York Project Hope, after the session, have additional questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And I am absolutely happy. Alex and I are happy to help you. And without further ado, I'm going to turn things back over to my colleague, Alex, who's going to talk with you a little bit more about self-care and breathing and so forth.
Thank you, Cheryl. I'm sure you've all gotten a lot of emails and reminders to take some time for yourself. And even though I'm a mental health professional and I've been trained as a yoga teacher, I still find it hard to stop and really carve out time. So I was really glad that we're incorporating this into this presentation today, because I have you all here. And so we're going to do a breathing activity together. I just want to start out by saying that the breathing activity isn't necessarily for everyone. So if that, is you, and I'll go through a couple of reasons why that might be the case, and you also might be working with or referring people, to do this for themselves. And there's some alternatives that I'll provide. So some of the people who sometimes struggle with breathing skills and just kind of taking time to stop and take some deep breaths are people who have ADHD. I don't know if that's you, or if you like to be very busy and kind of that's more your style. That is perfectly fine. And you might find that some people really, just it's not the coping skill that connects for them. This could also be people who have anxiety, because sometimes when you stop and you create this calm moment, all these thoughts come rushing in, or difficult feelings. And so that also might be a person that this just doesn't resonate with them. And then just generally, some people just feel that it's not the right coping tool for them. So if that's you right now, what you could do instead is just take some time and listen while I talk everyone else through the breathing exercise, and do some journaling, maybe some drawing or doodling. You could even use some of the tools that Cheryl just highlighted on our website. You could do free writing, or sometimes doing more of a walking meditation where you sort of walk calmly, and that can help you to move from maybe a quicker walk to a little bit of a smaller walk, and it helps you to move into this coping tool in a way, like in a time frame that works best for you. But what we can all do, if you are choosing to be seated and not do the walking meditation, is to put your feet firmly on the ground and to feel the ground beneath your feet. And make sure that your feet are right underneath your knees, and that your knees are in line with your hips. And then, while you do that, you might want to scooch up. I just saw Carrie kind of adjust herself, and check in with your sit bones, and kind of plug yourself down into your seat. Kind of like a three-pronged plug. You have your two sit bones and your tailbone. And so kind of feel for sitting down into your seat, feeling the seat underneath you. And that can be a good grounding technique to get you started as we move into this breathing exercise. Push your feet gently into the floor and also spread your toes out a little bit and just feel your feet and take a moment to feel the grounding of this activity. And then before we move into taking our breath a little bit slower and deeper, it's really good just to notice how you breathe right now. So just take a second without changing anything and trying to stay far away from judging the way you're breathing, and just notice how you're breathing. What is the pattern like? How do you feel in your body? And just be aware of it. And don't feel bad if you're a shallow breather, because I think we all do that. And it's just kind of what, when you're working and focusing on your day and the things that you need to do, you just kind of breathe in a very similar pattern of more of a shallow chest breathing. So then I also want to take us into taking a deep sigh. A lot of times when you're a chest breather, you'll maybe once an hour just kind of let out a sigh like that. So let's all just do that for a second to change up our breathing slightly. And don't be afraid to make a little noise. Take a deep breath in, and you can even just go, It's a great way to relieve a little frustration. I'm sure you probably already do that sometimes when you've hit a wall with something, or you're irritated, or you're just kind of checking in with yourself of just like, okay, where was I? So that can help you to disconnect a little bit from your shallow breathing. So just feel into that difference there and know that, all breathing is just moving oxygen in and carbon dioxide out. But know that when you take a deep breath, what you're really doing is you're also, in addition to making that exchange with your breath, you're stabilizing your blood pressure because you're slowing your heart rate down. And when we take breath down into the deepest lobes of our lungs, we're making our breathing much more effective and efficient. So you're moving that oxygen through your body and in a much better way than a shallow breath would do. So now we're going to move into taking some deep breaths. And some of you may be familiar with deep breathing. Maybe you have a yoga practice or you meditate regularly. And if you already know how to do deep breathing, you can just move right into it now. But for the rest of us, I'm going to try to help you access the filter that you use when you're doing that yogic breathing. So you really want to make a whisper sound in the back of your throat. And sometimes we stop ourselves from doing this because, like Carrie, you might be in an office with other people and you might feel, oh, it's just so disruptive to be making this noise. So before we move into this, you really have to give yourself permission to make a little bit of noise and change up your breathing a little bit. And it's going to sound like this, and I'm going to open my mouth and hopefully this will translate on the video here. So just try that with the mouth open. We'll move into breathing through the nose, but just hear that whisper sound and make it very loud. Now we're going to translate that to our nose, but still holding on to that loud breath. And you'll breathe in through the nose with the mouth closed. And as you start to change from more of your day-to-day breath, maybe a shallow breath, you may need to step it down incrementally. So go at the pace that works for your body. If you kind of breathe too deep, too quickly, it can be a little jarring. So feel free to take your time and use that whisper sound in the back of your throat to really feel the rhythm of your breath. It can also help to make you feel calmer because it's really a touchstone and helps you to remember, I'm breathing deeply now and I'm changing my regular pattern of breathing. So the more you can incrementally move to a deeper and deeper breath, the more your body is going to feel that calm. So continue to breathe deeply through your nose, and I'll give you a few more instructions too to also bring that calming sense to the rest of your body. Get a sense for how your shoulders participate in breathing. They will go up and down a little bit, but you can also use that rhythm to see, can I let go in my shoulders a little bit? Can you slide your shoulder blades down the back? Can you lift up the chest and also try to push into the back of your seat if you have a back of your seat, but kind of make your back a little more flat? So you're kind of creating more of a space in your chest for that breath to go. Notice how this affects your heart rate. Do you feel a little calmer? And then from here, check in with your jaw. A lot of our tension resides in our jaw and our neck. And so just see if you can pay attention to that first, and then let your lower jaw drop a little bit. That may make your lips part slightly, and that's okay, but just remind yourself to continue breathing through your nose. And see if you can just let that feeling that's starting here with your breath move down your face, your neck, and continue with your shoulders, etc. And now think of your core. Your core is not just this little piece that's underneath your ribs and above your hips. Your core is your shoulders all the way to your hip cradle. And if you can use the metaphor of your core being a room, your hip cradle is the floor, your shoulder girdle is the ceiling, and you want to push out and up and make your room bigger with your breath. Keep listening for that deep breath and the whisper sound. That whisper sound also helps to clean the air so that the air quality that you're bringing into your body is of a higher quality. From here, we're going to do a very brief neck relaxation exercise. So continue with the deep breath and then let your chin just drop down to the center of your chest. And if at any point in this exercise or in the breathing exercise in general, you feel any pain or serious discomfort, please stop and take care of yourself. But do try to feel a little stretch in the back of your neck and direct your breath. Try to just visualize your breath going into the back of the neck right now. On your next exhale, start to move your head so that your left ear is over your left shoulder. So keep it in line with your shoulder, and you should feel a bit of a relaxation in the right side of your neck. I'm going to switch sides so I can be the same as you. I see the mirror happening here. And continue to let go in your jaw. Sometimes here it can be helpful to open up the mouth and just feel, can you get an additional release on that side of your neck? Inhale deeply here and take just a couple of breaths feeling into that relaxation. On your next exhale, let your chin start to find its way back to the center of your chest and take an inhale and an exhale here. And then exhale again and move over to the opposite side. So your ear should be over your right side of neck or right shoulder.
Next month. Are you still interested in pursuing these goals? So have you had
Feeling into the relaxation on the opposite side, I think where you're on the left side of your neck, and let go in the jaw here. And sometimes our tendency is to think things through. How am I feeling? But instead, just try to feel. Stay with the rhythm of your breath. And then on your next exhale, bring your chin back to the center of your chest.
Monday, the last 2 days of the month?
I do hear a little chatter, but I just want to use that as a reminder that we always have this chatter in our mind, and sometimes we have to just ignore it and continue to breathe deeply. And now, very slowly, I want you to bring one hand up to the forehead, and then on your next exhale, use your hand to bring your head back up to center. We've just relaxed our neck, so we want to keep it very relaxed by using our hand to support us and reminding ourselves we're always in need of a little support here and there. And then I want to spend just a couple minutes staying here and breathing. We've taken some time to kind of gradually go into breathing deeply, so stay with that deep breath. And if it's comfortable for you, go ahead and close your eyes. If you'd rather have your eyes open, you may want to look at something and just focus on it while you continue to breathe deeply. And I'm going to let you guys just breathe deeply in silence for a few moments. And don't worry, I'll bring us back in a couple of minutes, but listen to your breath and expand the room that's within your body, your core. Start to bring your awareness back to the environment that you're in. Notice your feet on the floor. And when you're ready, if you've had your eyes closed, you can open them again. And just take a moment and put one hand on your chest and the other hand on that hand. Continue to take in a deep breath. And just thank yourself for taking a little bit of time to focus on self-care and on your body, and for slowing things down, which is no easy task. And thank you for sharing this mindful moment with us. Stay.
Thank you so much, Alex. I enjoyed going through that exercise this afternoon. I'm going to just take a moment and just want to take a moment to thank you all for joining us this afternoon. And if anyone has any questions, they're absolutely welcome to enter those into chat at this time. I'll also put my email address in there as well if anyone thinks of any questions after the session today, and we'll do our very best to answer those for you.
Thank you. Thank you both so much. I think one of the biggest challenges with self-care is just prioritizing it. You know, we're able to prioritize getting to work on time, coming to this meeting, you know, et cetera, but it's really hard to push everything aside and say, I'm just going to make time for me. And I just hope that you folks that are on the call will find on their website some coping tips and mechanisms and groups that you can just incorporate into your calendar, you know, just add it in. We always find the time to rush to the grocery store when there's a snowstorm coming, or we move things around, you know, to handle things for others, you know, if we need to pick somebody up, you know, or if we need to all of a sudden go into a meeting because something has happened, you know, we find the time for that. So I just encourage you to remind yourself of that, how easily you find the time to address a crisis, and that it's really important that you find the time to address your self-care, your well-being, and that there are fantastic ideas on there. That's why I love it. It's like a treasure trove of wellness tips. And thank you for Wordle. Started doing that a few weeks ago and find it really enjoyable and something else to look forward to that's just fun. We're going to be sending out a recording of this to all of you, plus all of the folks who registered but weren't able to make it this afternoon, and our community health professionals that are members of our newsflash. But feel free to reach out to myself as well if there's any additional topics or things you have questions on. I'm also going to be sending out a poll to see people's interest in having a wellness series and what that might look like and the different topics you may be interested in. So be on the lookout for that. But thank you all so much for making the time today, and I look forward to seeing you again. And I hope you all are well. And oh, sorry, Charles, is there something else?
Okay. I just want to add one other thing. For folks that may be looking for information to share with their organizations, we have printed materials available. So if anyone is looking for rack cards, posters that have the online wellness group information, we have many different printed materials and digital materials that we're absolutely happy to share with you as well. So please feel free to reach out if you're looking for any of those resources too.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.